Hello, I'm Lara Kulcherson and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. While the war in Gaza continues and criticism of Israeli policies grows, Israeli President Isaac Herzog's visit to Australia triggered protests across a number of cities.
I was trying to shelter her, she's 70, and I said, well, we'll back off. And he just went for it 3 times.
And pepper sprayed you?
Straight in the face.
And you got sprayed too, madam? How old are you?
71.
Herzog visited the country to honor the victims of December's Bondi terror attack, where people were gunned down while celebrating a Jewish festival. He was invited by the federal government, but his trip was met with a mixed reaction. Thousands rallied in Sydney, where controls were imposed to restrict marches in designated areas. Clashes broke out after some demonstrators attempted to march towards the state parliament. Police used pepper spray and arrested nearly 30 people. Pro-Palestinian groups, including some Jewish Australian organizations, accuse Herzog of inciting violence against Palestinians. He denies the claims.
I am just absolutely disgusted that the Australian government are more aligned with Israel and Zionism than they are with the wants, needs and expressed opinion of the Australian population. Watching those police in Sydney storm the protesters, running for about a block or so to chase the protesters, in addition to the New South Wales Premier extending the laws against protest and not allowing any march to proceed. And if you could see in comparison similar type of things in Palestine, in America and now in the streets of Australia, it's actually really, really disturbing that Palantir and the IOF and all of those surveillance police state things are right here on our shores today.
In the midst of this chaos, the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese made a statement that critics called tone-deaf and inflammatory. Defending the invitation of Herzog, Albanese called on opponents to turn the temperature down.
Albanese decided to come on national TV and warn Australians to turn the temperature down and not import foreign conflicts on Australian soil. Find this statement a tad hypocritical given that he invited a head of state that has been accused of war crimes and genocide against people in Gaza. The irony of you inviting that foreign conflict onto our shores, funding it with our taxpayers' money that we need to for security protection, take this foreign leader to the highest of level and then shame the public when they respond. Because Australians need to be aware who's coming into this country, whose voices are prioritized and why political dissent is being weaponized as a threat. A big push by the media to conflate the Jewish identity with the Israeli head of state currently visiting Australia, as any sort of political dissent and protest is labeled anti-Semitic and a expression of hatred towards the Jewish community, which completely dissenters the perpetrators of the Bondi terror attack, which were 2 men who happened to be radicals. Medias and politicians have completely now dissented the perpetrators and now center pro-Palestinian protesters as the reason why this terror attack took place in Australia. The reason why pro-Palestinian protesters are protesting is because the head of state that's currently visiting this country is and has been accused of geopolitical war crimes internationally in the result of genocide and human rights violation that has taken place in Gaza. And the only people bringing international conflict on Australian soil is the media and political figures in Australia weaponizing this current situation for their own political optics. The protest in this country is not illegal given that Australians are afforded with freedom of expression, because the aspect of you protesting does not deny another person's humanity.
You're taught that predators are old men in alleys. You're not told that a friend, a socialite, a woman can be a predator too.
Ms. Maxwell, were you a close friend and confidant of Jeffrey Epstein?
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related questions. My habeas petition is pending in the Southern District of New York. I therefore invoke my right to silence under the Fifth Amendment to the US Constitution.
She's one of the few people alive who knows the full story behind Jeffrey Epstein. But Ghislaine Maxwell, the former girlfriend of the convicted sex offender, is refusing to tell it. Democrats on the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform accuse Maxwell of using the Fifth Amendment as leverage in a bid to secure clemency from Donald Trump. On Monday, Maxwell refused to answer any questions during a closed-door deposition with the committee. She repeatedly invoked her right under the Fifth Amendment to decline testimony that could be used against her in a criminal case.
Ghislaine Maxwell will respectfully invoke her Fifth Amendment right to silence and decline to answer questions today, even though she would very much like to answer your questions. If this committee and the American public truly want to hear the unfiltered truth about what happened, there is a straightforward path. Ms. Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. Only she can provide a complete account, and some may not like what they hear, but the truth matters. For example, both President Trump and President Clinton are innocent of any wrongdoing. Ms. Maxwell alone can explain why, and the public is entitled to hear that explanation.
We know that Ghislaine Maxwell is a known liar. She has perjured herself, and she is not a reliable witness, especially because it is painfully obvious that she will say anything to get out of prison. But this move by her and her lawyer is clever. She also knows that President Trump wants so badly to be removed from the Epstein conversation. So she is telling him in this statement she's willing to say publicly that Trump did nothing wrong, only if, of course, he commutes her sentence. Now, politically, commuting a sentence of the only person convicted of these Epstein crimes is probably going to go over like a lead balloon. But at the same time, when asked about pardoning Maxwell or commuting her sentence, President Trump has never explicitly ruled it out. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Both President Trump and former President Bill Clinton are named throughout the batch of recently released Epstein files. Both have denied any wrongdoing, though the Clintons have agreed to testify in the congressional investigation later this month. Since late last year, posts of Kenyans being tricked into fighting in Europe's deadliest conflict since World War II have been circulating on social media. Now, the government says the number is running into the hundreds. Some of them have been talking about how they were hoodwinked by Russia to fight against Ukraine.
As you can see that I'm wearing a Russian uniform right now. It happened, I can say it's a mistake, but it might be a life lesson and maybe might be helpful to others. Russia will keep on recruiting people from Africa, and not only Africa, but the rest of the world. But the fact about there is that he lied about huge amount of money, like 1 million rubles, but unfortunately that million rubles will not get anything to your account. They will get rid of your money from your account, and they are more so to Africans. There is full of racism. As you can see, I'm dark-skinned, and also there is language barrier. You might be abused everything while you are not understanding anything there. So what I can say that is that before I came here where I am right now, I passed through many bodies, dead bodies. And I know 2 of Kenyans who are already dead.
Many of those that ended up fighting in the war were told they would work in Russia and be paid salaries ranging from hundreds to thousands of dollars. In Kenya, where the monthly pay is around $125, the offer was hard to refuse.
Recruiter lied to them. They get there, hey, you're gonna get jobs, you're gonna get work visas, your life is gonna be better. So they get to Russia. Immediately, one thing led to another, and they're now training to be in the military. These are guys that are coming from a warm climate. Now they're freezing. Now they're being trained in a language they don't even know. Within 1 week, you're on the front lines. They're putting them on the front lines.
From Kiambu, Duncan Chege is alive today because he did something most people would never dare. Now, he pretended to be mad. Chege says he was lured into Russia with a promise of a driving job and 3 million shillings. It sounded legitimate. It sounded easy. Now, it was neither. Instead of a steering wheel, Duncan found himself in a military uniform, dropped into an active war zone with Ukrainian drones hovering overhead. A battlefield he never signed up for. Now he says he arrived with 10 other Kenyan men, and none of them made it out alive. And that's when Duncan made a calculated move. He acted mentally unstable and it worked out. He was released from the barracks, ran straight to the Kenyan embassy, and his family rushed to bring him home.
But not everyone is so lucky. This week, family members gathered in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, to protest. They say some were promised jobs as salesmen, others as security guards, and one was even offered a career as a professional sportsman. Human rights groups are calling on Kenyan authorities to do more to protect its citizens. The government has called the practice clandestine and unacceptable and says it will speak to Moscow. The weather is the Brits' favorite topic of conversation. But now it's causing misery for farmers, builders, sports and wildlife. The persistent rain has even set a new record.
UK, what's new with you? So we broke a new record in here. Oh, congrats. So what is it? It rained every single day in 2026 in here. Every day? Yep, every day. Different areas, but every day. But 40 days is crazy. Trust me, I know. Some areas broke the record with the longest time with 0 sunshine, and other areas broke a record for the wettest January ever, and some places are flooding, and some places got a full month of rain in like a week. So yeah, fun. But at least you broke a record, right? So congrats. Thank you, I guess. But I want to move somewhere warm with sun.
It's actually so bad that some parts of the UK have not even seen proper sunlight for more than 32 hours this entire year. It's February, by the way. Literally look at what my week is looking like, please. And it's continuing on this way into March. If you want to save yourself the misery, do not open the weather app. No British person should ever do that. And I wish I could say that February weather is looking much better considering that's my birth month. But unfortunately, the forecast doesn't look like it's going to be very charitable. Like, I saw someone comment this, and it's absolutely so true, because this is the only range that the British sky ever has to offer. I always wonder, why does anybody want to move here? But you should keep this in mind, because whether you like it or not, the weather has a huge part to play in your mental state. So God and everyone is praying for everyone in the UK right now.
Would you like a free cup of bubble tea? As Lunar New Year approaches, Chinese AI giants are launching a marketing blitz, offering giveaways and digital red envelopes to lure users. This year, the gifts are coming from AI chatbots. Alibaba says it will spend millions of dollars through its Qwen chatbot, which now lets users order food or book train tickets.
Alibaba is dropping $450 million to buy boba for every person in China. Why? Because Alibaba is trying to win the great AI race. But what does boba have anything to do with AI? Qwen, Alibaba's version of ChatGPT. Last month, they launched a huge update that allows Qwen to take actions and even pay on your behalf. This is game-changing. If you ask Yuanbao, DeepSeek, or Doubao to order you some boba, heck, you even ask ChatGPT or Claude, they can only give you suggestions. They're consultants. But if you ask Qwen, Qwen will literally find tea shops near you, recommend you drinks, let you customize sugar and ice, and finally pay, all without ever leaving the Qwen app. And boba is just level 1. Think about what else Qwen can do because it's plugged into the entire Alibaba ecosystem. E-commerce, groceries, delivery, travel, payments, and so much more. So this Chinese New Year, Alibaba is skipping the red packets. Instead, you get a 25 yuan coupon if you let Qwen order you boba. I ordered one for my cousin, and it showed up in 20 minutes. No surprise, this campaign went absolutely viral. Qwen surged to #1 in the Apple App Store. Milk tea stores are reportedly doing 3 times their normal order volume, and milk tea stocks have popped 5 to 10% in the past week, all thanks to Qwen.
And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.